Good morning, Deacon Fulton. How are you?
Good morning, Father Bob. I'm doing all right.
Well, thanks for being with us today to talk a little bit about your vocation. So, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
All right, so I'm Deacon Mike Fulton. I'm studying for the Diocese of Columbus, Ohio. I've been in seminary for about 8 years now, and I'll, God willing, be ordained a priest on June 13th, 10 a.m., somewhere in the Diocese of Columbus. And right now, I'm out here in sunny, beautiful Colorado, except it's actually raining right now. But this is where I was actually born and raised, and this is where my family lives. And this is a good place for me to spend the quarantine. But in June, I'll be back in Columbus.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. It'd be great to have you back.
hmm
So, how did you first start to discern that you had a vocation to the priesthood?
Yeah, I had a pretty normal start, just like most people do. I went to Olentangy High School on the north side of Columbus, a public school, but going to my youth group and getting to know my priest, I had a priest come up to me who later became very influential, and he just told me straight up, said, "Hey, um, I think you have some really good priestly qualities. Would you consider thinking about the priesthood?" And that just kind of caught me off guard, especially for a freshman, sophomore in high school. And I said, "What?" I didn't even know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I said, "What does that even mean? Does it mean I'd look good in black?" But for the next month or so, I kept thinking about what he'd said. And the more I thought about it, the more it started to make sense with my life and what I knew about the priesthood. It's like, well, I know priests serve. I know that priests help people. I know, even though I'd never admit it, that's what I really enjoy. And that's what I, feel called to do in one way or another. And then from there, it was a very gradual process from there.
Great, wonderful. So, what was like the first step you did that you actually kind of took on this vocation journey?
Yeah, so that it's good and all to be in your head and to be thinking about the priesthood, but you need to make a step. And so that's where I was, for a month
Right.
or two after talking to that priest. I kept thinking and driving myself crazy. But then finally, I took this step, and it's a step I think most young men in this situation should take. I went and I spoke with this priest.
Hmm.
So no one's going to be able to help you discern this better than someone who's already gone through it. So I went and spoke with this priest, said, "Hey, what did you mean when you said I've got priestly qualities? What were you serious? What were you talking about?" And from there, I started meeting with him a little more regularly. Started talking about what is the priesthood, because I still didn't know very much about it.
Right.
So what does it mean to be a Catholic man? Because you can't be a Catholic priest if you're not a Catholic man first.
Right.
And then from there, it was just gradual growing in my faith, meeting with this priest. And after 4 years of that kind of preparation, I felt very ready to take the next step and enter seminary.
Great, wonderful, great. So, tell us a little bit about your seminary experience, because that's 8 years of your life. So, it's taken a good chunk of it.
Oh yeah. So I entered seminary right out of high school. So it's funny, my high school is just up the road from the seminary. So I'd pass by it all the time. I didn't even know what it was. But when I got to the seminary, I was 18 years old, and most guys don't know what they're doing with their lives. And I definitely didn't know what I was doing with my life at the time. But I knew on a very basic level that whatever I was supposed to do, I was supposed to do it there. That I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I know that this is where I'm going to find out.
Right.
And so I entered when I was 18. The first 4 years of seminary there, I studied for a philosophy degree. All priests have to study philosophy and theology, study of how man thinks and study of how God thinks and how to bring the two together. So, but at the same time I was studying, we were also meeting with priests. We were learning how to pray. We were learning how to be seminarians. And we were also a bunch of 18, 19-year-old and 20-year-old guys. So we were also playing lots of sports and going to movies, and it was great. I got to grow as a Catholic man, got to grow as a seminarian, and I got to grow with a lot of my brothers. So it was really great.
Great, wonderful. So at this point, what type of advice would you give to any young man who is starting to think, perhaps I have a vocation, or being hopefully encouraged by family members or friends or their priests to consider a vocation? What would you suggest they would do now?
Right. So for any young man who's considering a vocation, there's two things you need to keep in mind. It's that God is never in a rush. So not to rush it, not to just jump in without any thought. Obviously you need to pray about it. You need to give some reflection, because this is important. We all need to reflect on our lives. Same side, God's never in a rush, but you need to move. Like, you need to eventually do something. It's like God is calling you to give your life to him, and he's calling you to do it now. So obviously not to jump in, but you need to, if you don't do anything, then nothing's going to happen.
Right.
So kind of having the courage to take the first step, and realizing that you're not signing on the dotted line and nothing's being put in stone, but that first step is being given in generosity to the Lord.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for that advice. That's great for them to hear. So we wish you every blessing out there in Colorado, and we look forward to welcoming you back, and especially to your ordination. Of course, at the moment, we don't know how many priests even will be allowed to come to your ordination. So everything's up in the air, but we will be watching you on live stream, if nowhere else.
All I know is there will be 3 more priests at the end of it than there were at the beginning.
Amen. Thanks be to God. So, all right, Deacon, God bless.
God bless you, Father Bob.